Okay, everyone, thank you for having me here. I am going to be discussing ESGI software in partnership with Alive Studios. We have partnered with Alive Studios to put their assessments for their curriculum in ESGI. And today I'm going to show a brief overview of what ESGI can do, and then you will have an opportunity to create your own accounts. And when you do that, you will have access to all the Alive Studios tests. So when you get started, ESGI is an online assessment tool, so you sign in with a username and password from any internet connected device. So you can use your laptop computer, your desktop computer, or you can use a tablet. When you sign in, you will see classes, groups, and students. Now, of course, when you first sign in, there will be no groups or students. You can add those. It's simple to add a student. You just click the Add button, and you add a student's name. Now, if you don't have your class list yet, you can do as I'm doing and put a test student in there. Use the drop-down menu to find a grade. It defaults to kinder, but you can see we can accommodate any grade level. And choose gender. Student ID is optional. And then we have the option of choosing English, Spanish, or other as the primary language. If you choose Spanish as the primary language, the parent letters will print in Spanish. So once you have your student here on the class list, you click the student's name and you bring that child over to the computer or the iPad, and you choose one of our preloaded assessments. I am going to show you today how you can customize your account to add hundreds of assessments from ESGI and from Alive Studios. So you click on the test. While the child is sitting next to you, you say to the child, what letter is this? If he answers correctly, you click the Y or the N, depending on his response. And you can also take notes. So if this child said N instead of M, you might want to note that. If this one, they answered slowly, but they got it right, you can enter that. So any kind of notes you want to take here, you can do that. And you can close the test at any time. It updates the pie chart here and on the home screen. Now when it's time to, when you've completed all the assessments, it's time to send home a parent letter. Now again, this is in English or Spanish, depending on home language. Notice we've only given one test, so that's what's going to show up on the parent letter. Here is the template that we have designed. You can, of course, modify the template to say whatever you would like. It's got the child's name, because I called this child test, that's what shows up in the name. And then it shows everything the child got correct and incorrect on that assessment. Notice it says slowly and said N here with the 1 and the 2 because those are the notes we took. You can decide to include that on the parent letter or not. It's totally up to you. And you can download this as a Word file, a PDF, or you can print it. Some teachers are using this to email home to parents. Now, to go along with that parent letter, you can print the flashcards. These are only going to show the ones that the child missed. Again, you can print it, or you can send it home attached to an email. Now, if ESGI did just those two things, it would save you hundreds of hours of time in the assessment process. And that's what teachers get excited about, because this is the only product out there that helps you actually collect the data, and it goes a lot quicker. Because the next time you test a student on that same assessment, you have two choices. If you just want to test the incorrect items they missed last time, you can do that, and the assessment will go much quicker. Or you can retest all items at all times. So it just depends if you're trying to look for mastery or retention of the items. So you can just get started quickly like this. Oh, that doesn't look good. Update the pie chart. And there's the updated pie chart. Now I'm going to go to a student who has a lot more data. And I'm going to show you some other reports and things that you can do with your data. Now ESGI is online, so depending on your internet connection, sometimes we have a little lag, and because I am showing my screen, it could also be why it's lagging behind. So here we go. Here's Elliot's scores over here. The parent letter and the flashcards, as I mentioned, are here. But we also have what's called the history graph. Now you can see Elliot has mastered all his uppercase letters, but if I click on history underneath the pie chart, you can see what his progress was over time. Let's look at a different one, see if there's better progress. Here we go. You can see that Elliot has been assessed many times in lowercase sounds. It started way down here, and this is his score that he got. And if you hover over, you can see each time he was assessed. And the neat thing about this is it also shows the date and the time. Now, we all know that sometimes children perform better at a different time of day. Well, this kind of data can really help you determine that. So we just keep going, and you can see that the key here shows that these tests were test incorrect type of test. So we hover over, and then he finally mastered up here at the top. So you can print this report. You can get it for different marking periods if you want, or the entire school year, and you can save it as a PDF or an Excel. Some teachers tell us this kind of graph is really great for RTI data collection. So again, that's the history graph. We also have what's called the details. This also gives you information about the child's testing sessions. So if I go here to the drop-down menu, you can see this child has been assessed many times on this test. We can go back and look at any testing session that we want to, and it shows correct and incorrect. It will also show any notes that we've taken. Here, it'll be like a little post-it note, and you can even add notes after the fact if you want. If you remember something about the testing session, you want to add it. Now you can also edit these testing sessions. First of all, you can delete a whole testing session if you feel like that testing session was incorrect or inaccurate, or for some reason if you accidentally clicked the wrong student's name and you started assessing, you can delete that testing session. So please know that that's there. You can also edit any testing session just by choosing it and clicking edit. And here's where you can move things from correct to incorrect if you choose to after the fact. The neat thing about this is it also shows the session duration, and it shows the session number. So look at this one, took 16 seconds. Now that's going to be interesting information if you're looking at how long did it take this child to do this. And because this is teacher-led, sometimes a teacher might give more time or less time, so you can see here how long it actually did take. So we've got the pie charts with the history and the details and the parent letter and the flashcards, but there's another report here that is very interesting for teachers. It's called the item analysis. If I ask you what your least known letter was in your class, you might have to go through stacks of paper to find out that information. Here with the ESGI, you can find out just by clicking the item analysis. So in this class, O is the least known uppercase letter, and when I scroll over, all students have mastered the R. If you want to find out who hasn't mastered the F, for instance, just click in that gray area and up pops a list showing the students who have not yet mastered or who have not yet been tested on the letter F. You can print this out as well. If you have an assistant come in to help you or a parent helper, you can have these children work on the letter F or sit them up close on the carpet when you're teaching the F. This teacher might also post these letters around the classroom because they're the least known. You can also choose any of the tests below and get that same kind of information. Lowercase sounds, lowercase letters, and you can sort it in different ways as well. This report can be printed, or you can export the details to Excel. When you do this, this is kind of a new feature. When you export to Excel, you get this really neat looking graph that shows all of your students and all of the items that they got correct or incorrect. So if you look at our friend Elliot here, he got E correct, G correct. If it's an X, that means they got it correct. If it's blank, that means they got it incorrect. Or if it has an NT, they have not yet been tested. So this is kind of a neat graph to just have your class list and all the items across the top, and you can easily see who needs extra practice. Again, that's right here, export details to Excel. In addition to that item analysis, we also have what's called the class totals report. Now this report that you're going to be looking at is an end of the year report for this teacher. What you have is all your children on the left-hand side in alphabetical order, all the tests across the top, an average percent correct column here on the right-hand side, and each one of the marking periods listed here. This teacher has 4 marking periods, but if your school or district has more marking periods, we can accommodate that as well. So B represents the baseline score the first time that child was assessed, and then each of the marking periods. So let's look at our friend Elliot here. Elliot only knew 7 uppercase letters the very first time he was assessed. Then he was assessed during the first marking period, and he made absolutely no progress during the first marking period. But then something happened, it kicked in, second marking period, he finally got to 26, and then he was able to maintain it for the rest of the school year. Our friend Maggie here underneath knew only 1 uppercase letter when she was first assessed, made it up to 10 in the first marking period, made no progress through the third marking period, and then something went wrong in the fourth marking period. She went down to 5. So that would really be some red flags for us as teachers. Why did she go down to 5? Now this is of course just demonstration data, so that might not be actually accurate data for a child, but you never know, it could happen. You can sort this report. So what teachers do is come over here to the average percent correct. Whatever marking period is last showing, if you click on that number 2 times, look at what happens to your students on the class list. They resort so that your most proficient student is at the top. So the way teachers use this data is they take Raymond, Elliot, Arnav, Braylin, and they put them in one group. And then going down the list, Sarah Jane, Jacob, Abby, and Caden might be in another group. So it's totally up to you how you use this data, but that's one way teachers do it, to make groups based on data. Clicking on the last name returns them to alphabetical order. And you can also sort by any of the subtests. So if you just want to know who knew the most lowercase sounds when they first came to kindergarten, click B 2 times, and Josie here knew 26 lowercase sounds. So this report here can be downloaded as an Excel file. It can also be printed, and some administrators like to see this kind of data, so you might be sending it to your administrator or handing it to your administrator at some kind of data meetings. So I went quickly through how to assess a child, what the data pie charts look like in the middle, including the history and the details, and then I discussed the class totals report showing growth over time, the item analysis showing which items are least or most known in your class, the parent letter in English or Spanish, and the flashcards. Before I continue, are there any questions?
You guys have any questions?
I do about the holistic data, like campus level. Like we saying that you show it from an administrative level.
Rochelle, did you hear that?
I did not.
So she's wanting to look to see from an administrative level, like beyond this campus, like district. Yeah, so if she's wanting to see campus-wide as an administrator, not just, she wants like multiple schools.
Sure, absolutely. We provide a district admin login free of charge and school site administrator logins free of charge. All I need is an email from a district or school email address stating that you would like access to that, and I would be happy to provide that for you. Now what that's going to look like is instead of where it says classes, groups, and students, it will go all the way from school site, teachers, groups, students. You can drill all the way down to the student level using the district district admin login, and at the school site, of course, you would see teachers, classes, groups, and students. So it's just one level up, and then the district, of course, would be the overarching data. So yes, absolutely.
We're wrapping up. Give her the information so she can do it before we leave.
Absolutely. Yeah, now, of course, it's not going to show data until teachers have actually created counts and started putting data in there, but you can get it all set up and start looking at it. And then where it says class totals report, yours will say district totals report or school totals report. So you get different types of reports at the higher level. Any other questions? Okay, there's just 2 more reports. One is called the pie charts. Very self-explanatory. It just shows pictures of the pie charts for parents. So this is really neat. I used it a lot when my parents would come in for conferences. You know, you can just show them really easily what the child knows and doesn't know. Some teachers are telling us they use it for student-led conferences. So Elliot here can show his parents easily, I'm doing really good in these two, but I'm still working on this one. Now you can choose any of the tabs and get that same information. So we have math tests here, so Elliot can show his math tests and so on. Now these can be printed. They can be printed in color or black and white and downloaded as a PDF. In addition, we have a report called View Untested Students. Teachers really like this report close to the end of a marking period. We all know what it's like when we're scrambling to get the most up-to-date data right before report cards. Well, this report can help you. You can set it for however many days out, let's say the last week, and then you see who has been assessed or who has not been assessed in the last 7 days. If it has a score, that means they're up to date within the last 7 days. If it says run test, that means they have not been assessed in the last 7 days. So you just call that student over, click that run test button, and it launches the test. So pretty handy. And you can export this as well, so you have a list of the students who have to be assessed. So those are just some handy teacher reports down here at the bottom. And then I just mentioned about groups. ESGI allows you to add groups. You can see this teacher has many, many groups already. Some of them are language groups, some of them are math groups, some could be reading groups. It doesn't really matter what type of groups, but you just click the add button and you can add any kind of groups. I'm going to call this the Robbins group. Drag and drop students very easily into my group and save it. When I do that and then I come down here to my Robbins group and I click on it, notice only 3 students show up on my class list because those are the students I put in the group, and then the data pie charts only show for those students. Where it used to say class totals report, now it says group totals report. When I click on it, those 3 students appear on this report and only their data. So this is neat because you can compare group to group, you can download it as an Excel file, and you can view data in different ways. It's very easy to edit a group. You just click on edit, move students in and out. And the reason we make it so easy is because we want these to be very flexible groups for you so that you can move students in and out. You can also delete groups if you want. Okay, so that's basic information about how ESGI operates. Any questions about groups or students? You can sort your students on the class list by first name or last name. That's an option for you. Or any of the reports, because now I'm going to go into how to customize your account with different tests.
Any questions? No. Okay, keep going.
Okay, up here at the top we have some buttons for you, and the one I'm going to spend the most time with is the Test Explorer. That's everything to do with tests and customizing your account. But I just want to point out to you a couple things up here. One is the school year button. Notice I'm in an incorrect school year and it's yellow. That's for demonstration purposes. But if you've used ESGI for more than one school year and you click on it, you can see this account has been used many, many years. You can go back and look at your data from the previous year. Why would you want to do that? Well, sometimes teachers say, hey, how did Johnny perform last year? Was he doing okay in his uppercase letters? Well, you can actually go back, look at Johnny's scores, maybe even print a report for the teacher so that she can see it. So that's why you would do that. Profile is where you find information about your own account. So if you ever want to find out what the expiration date is for your account, it's in the profile. If you ever need to change your username or password, that is also down here in the profile. We have a log out button and a home button, always takes you back to the pie charts. Our help center is amazing, so I would say check that out. We've got a lot of tutorial videos. In addition, I will just say that we have some getting started playlists on YouTube. And so if you check out ESGI software on YouTube, you can find so many videos that are very short, like 1 minute or less. And we also do Tuesday tips on Facebook Live, so check that out also on Tuesdays. We also have those videos on YouTube as well, so you can check out past Tuesday tips. Student Explorer is hardly ever used by teachers, but that is where you can move a student from one teacher's class to another. Sometimes at the beginning of a school year, a kid gets assigned to one class, but then ends up in another teacher's class. You can move that child so the data follows. We do have videos showing how to do that. Contact us. Our customer support team is amazing, so contact them. We also have a chat feature, so if you ever are stuck and you can't call on the phone, you can live chat with one of our customer service representatives. I'll talk about the Test Explorer in a second. And then there are two buttons over here that I would highly encourage you to check out. Again, this could possibly be something you check out over the summer if you so choose, and that is the Class Management Tool. What that has in it is a lot of templates that you're going to need for the beginning of the year. It's got nameplates in there. It's got cubby names, and all it does is take your class list and populate all those things that you don't even have to write cubby names out. It'll print them. It's got pocket chart tags and so forth. So check that out on your own time. And Parent Conferencer is used when you schedule parent conferences. What it does is it takes your children off the class list here and puts them into a conference slot that you select, and then prints out professional looking parent letters and reminders in English and Spanish. All right, so check those out. Now I'm going to go to the Test Explorer. The Test Explorer is where you're going to find all kinds of tests. We have hundreds of tests added to ESGI, and you can use them for free. All you have to do is find them and add them to your account. There's many ways that you can explore the Test Explorer. One is by looking at our Friends of ESGI tests. Now there's our Alive Studios, so you can click on them and get all of their tests. However, we've already added the language arts to your account, so you don't have to worry about that. We have some Texas tests. We get the TEKS here, so you can check those out. We've got Common Core, which doesn't apply, and we've got some reading tests and some Spanish tests if you want, sight word tests, etc. So that's one way you can explore, but there's also over here where you can explore by content area. So if you say, show me all your math tests, for instance, and I just want to see math tests that are created by Alive Studios, let's say. So we put that in. Now you're going to get a whole bunch of wonderful tests created by Alive Studios. You might see this one and say, hey, I teach about money. Let me check that one out. So you click on the name. You can see the test here, or you can preview it just as you would give it to a student. So you look at it here. If you like it, there's three things you can do. One is you can use it as is in your account right now. So you just click one of the tabs here. You can put it in pre-math, or you can make any tab and put it here. So if you click, it'll automatically be added to your account. Second thing you can do is you can star it for later. So if you teach money later on in the year, you don't want to forget this test is in here because you're just exploring right now, just click the star and it will star it for later. Third thing you can do, and this is a really powerful one, is you can make an exact copy of this test. So you click copy test, it's going to give you an exact copy, and here's what you can do. You can take out some of the questions, you can add some questions, you can change the directions, whatever you'd like, because it's a complete copy of the test. Now I know as teachers we love to do that. We love to take somebody's stuff and just tweak it to make it our own. So that's a neat feature within ESGI. You can copy any test that we have in here. So there you go. You can sort again by, or filter by anything here. Here's all of our math tests in the whole system, and you can use the search. Again, if you're looking for all of the money tests, you can just put in money. I highly recommend that you put a concept in here in the search. Don't put in grade level, because we've put all of our tests in here by concept, because maybe money is taught in kinder and first, and so we don't want to just label it a kinder test. So anyway, there is how you add to your account. Very easy. Search, and again, this is where I said you could spend a lot of time putting in concepts over the summer perhaps and looking at different tests that match. One of my favorites is Chicka Chicka. We have a whole Chicka Chicka Boom Boom test in here. Maybe it's not called Chicka Chicka. We have guiding readers. So if you're looking for some comprehension tests, we have guiding readers tests in here. And you can see all the different titles. I'll probably see Chicka Chicka Boom Boom now if I scroll through. So that's how you add tests to your account. Are there any questions about any of the buttons up here on the top, including the Test Explorer?
Any questions, guys? No. I think we're good.
Okay, so when you are signing up for your account, you are going to be going to our homepage and you're going to be following the directions for registering. And those instructions are given to you on a piece of paper. It's got a special activation code. So I'm going to show you this screen right now. I know you're not all on a computer. I just want to bring to your attention a couple of spots that are very important on this registration screen. So you're going to fill out all your personal information, but I really want you in the referred by to put Alive Studios, please, because this is a pilot with Alive Studios for this year. So please put in Alive Studios in the referred by. And then when you're making your username and password, make it something very easy because you're going to sign into ESGI, hopefully, every day or multiple times a day to assess your students. So make it something very easy to remember, your username and password. These radio buttons down here, when you are signing up, please make sure that activation code is checked because you are going to enter a special code which will connect you to your district and get you started with your account. I believe that free trial may be selected first, so double check that. You need to have activation code selected. Then when you accept Alive Studios and activation code, those are the two important things that I want you to remember. And then you accept the agreement, you'll go to the next screen and you'll choose information about your district. So just make sure that you have those two things and you'll be good to go.
Good. So Rochelle, any questions for Rochelle? So the best thing for them, because you've got, this is the latest training video, I actually don't even have this, is when you guys are getting set up during the summer, just go to your website and the YouTube to try to make sure they have all the latest training.
That's
probably
correct.
The best way to go.
Yes, okay. And follow us on Facebook and you can see the Tuesday tips to get more information about what's new. We have many things coming for ESGI that are brand new, so follow us on social media because that's where we announce all of our new features. I've enjoyed spending time with you today. If you have any questions, my name is Rochelle, R-O-C-H-E-L-L-E, at esgisoftware.com. And also don't forget about our wonderful customer support team. They're there for you via phone call or live chat or email.
Yeah, I would tell you, I've called them all the time because we're on the road. They'll always answer and they'll help you right on the spot. So don't hesitate to call them when you're trying to get it set up. And you know, just have any questions, just please call them because we want to make sure you're up and running. So anything else left for Michelle before we wrap it up? Looks good, Rochelle. I like the new stuff you guys added.
Thank you. Really? Sounds good. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.